Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I've got for you today happened today in Congress. And I'll be honest with you, Jim Jordan went ham on a few witnesses around the ATF's overreach, the ATF's closure of FFLs, and even the unnecessary killing of the airport executive. Remember that whole thing? Yeah, Jim Jordan had a few words about that one. Everything I'm about to show you is linked in the description box below. Let me know what you think in the comments, and of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on, because we've got some freedom to spread to that next generation, and you can help us every single day. All right, beautiful people, listen. This is a midday video, so I'm going to do it a little quicker. This is Jim Jordan, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, but he's also chairing the Weaponization of Government Committee. That's what we're watching. Listen to what he says against the ATF. I got 3 clips I'm going to run through with you real quickly, but this you need to hear.
The chair now recognizes himself for an opening statement. In June 2021, just a few months after taking office, President Biden directed the Justice Department to adopt a zero-tolerance policy to revoke federal firearms licenses from those who committed, quote, willful violations of the law. That same month, ATF updated its internal best practices guide to state, quote, ATF will, absent extraordinary circumstances, initiate proceedings to revoke the license of any dealer that has committed a willful regulatory violation of the Gun Control Act for specified violations, close quote. These willful violations now include purposefully broad classifications like, quote, falsifying documents and failing to maintain records needed for successful firearms tracing, and would essentially allow the ATF to revoke the licenses of FFLs for simple technical and non-material paperwork violations.
Now that's crucially key and important. They created something that we've hit on a lot recently, a very broad, overly vague descriptor of which they can file something under, whether it be falsifying records or not providing enough detail for contact tracing. Everything that they're doing is based on a very broad definition of law, based on a broad subjective opinion on how they can interpret it. He's even going after it and saying specifically around FFLs. In fact, listen to some of the amounts of closures we've had from the ATF, who is directly doing this as an extension of the White House, both the executive branch, okay? White House, DOJ, ATF, that's the way this works. Executive bureaucracies are enacting gun control for the Biden administration, all right? Now I'm going to the second clip here, and we're just going to keep rolling because he brought some receipts on this one.
Material paperwork violations. And ATF is zealously doing just that. The year after the zero-tolerance policy went into effect, ATF revoked over 90 licenses, more than any year since 2006. Last year, that number jumped to 157 FFL revocations. The year before zero tolerance went into effect, there were just 40 revocations.
40 revocations before the Biden zero tolerance went into effect. Then it jumped to 90, and then it's 100 plus. The most since 2006. If you're keeping track, it's 2024. So you're saying almost 20 years, magically, all of a sudden, all of these FFLs are magically out of compliance, while the ATF has been watching them the entire time. You smell that? That's called political abuse of the executive branch, is what that's called, to get gun control. It's not hard to see what it is. But I love that he's bringing receipts, and he's honestly skewering with them and saying the ATF is zealously pursuing that goal. They got one more thing for you, he said. Again, this is the third clip. This happened today, and I got more coming later.
We've talked to some of the affected FFLs. We've even talked to some who beat the ATF in court and were able to keep their license. They told us it cost over $150,000 in fees to keep their license. There's no way the average small business can afford that much in legal and consulting fees. And ATF knows this. And the data shows this brazen scheme is working. The number of voluntary business closures post-inspection has risen sharply from 24 in 2021 to 69 in 2022 and to 80 last year. This is exactly what the left wants. Democrats and Joe Biden have been trying to take guns away from Americans for years. If they can't take the FFLs away, they are going to limit the number. If they can't take the guns away, they're going to limit the number of places where law-abiding Americans can go purchase their firearms.
He said that exquisitely well. If they can't get the gun control they want through Congress, they're just going to use the executive branch to pressure them out. So in the second clip, he showed you the increasing numbers that have been closed and revoked by the ATF. The third clip, he showed you the sharp increase of people who are willingly or voluntarily closing after ATF inspections. So you've got two ends of the spectrum there, one being forced and one voluntary. At the end of the day, there are more closures and voluntary closures and revocations of licenses since 2006, and I'm sure that has nothing to do with the policy that the Biden administration enacted through the DOJ into the ATF. Oh wait, it started after they actually announced the zero excuses policy. You are witnessing the weaponization of the executive branch of the federal government at the request of the White House to infringe upon the gun rights through the closure of the infrastructure system. That's what you're looking at. Jim Jordan just said it very well. If they can't get the guns through congressional means, they're going to go after the FFLs to prevent you from getting guns through the e-commerce or just executive branch. This is messed up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. We got so much more of this coming, and I can't wait to see you there. Later.